Hey there, guys. My name is Janelle Summers, and this is the Team Hardcore Training Call. And I've got one of my best friends here with me, Jen Delvaux.
Hey.
And I'm going to introduce you to her more in just a second. We're so excited about this topic. We were talking about what we wanted to do for this team training, and we just felt like we needed to just be real and just come out there and say some things that are just maybe brutally honest in some cases about the business, because when you get into this business, it is tough to really know what to expect. It's all new, and so you're traveling into all this unknown, and I think you just need to hear some of these coach truth bombs that we've put together. So we've put together 10 coaching truth bombs. By the way, I usually say the date at the beginning of these. This is June 22nd, and so we've got a good 9 days left in the month.
Yep.
And so plenty of time, even if you're at zero, plenty of time to finish your month strong. So I want to introduce to you one of my closest friends, Jen Delvaux. She is a 5-star diamond in her first business center. Correct me if I get wrong, Jen. 4-star diamond in her second business center. She's a diamond in her third business center. She's a Success Club All-Star legend. She's Millionaire Club. She's 3-time elite. She's a mom and wife. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's been awesome. It's been incredible. I'm excited to be here with you guys.
And she started coaching, was it probably a good year after I started? Is it about a year?
I think it was like exactly a year.
Okay. So yeah, so this has been super fun to have someone in the business who I just absolutely adore, and we brainstorm on things, and I definitely recommend that for you guys. If you don't have anyone, we always say get a Success Club partner, and maybe you don't want to commit to someone for like the rest of your business, but just say, hey, to co-host this group, you want to co-host it together, to work on this project, put together a new type of challenge group or coach training. Let's do this project together. That way you're not committing forever in case it doesn't really work out, but commit with someone.
Yeah, I always recommend that to my team too. Mm-hmm. It's so good to just share ideas with each other. And even if you're brand new and you're doing your first challenge group and you only have 2 people, if you combine with each other, then maybe you have 5, and it just makes it more fun.
More energy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes.
So, and cool. I know everyone's always thinking, well, I don't have like a best friend in the business. No, you can meet people on all these other coaching groups that are out there. I mean, there's no doubt about it that you don't need to live near this person. You don't need to, it doesn't need to be your upline coach. It doesn't need to be someone on your team. Just get with someone that you click with and try it out for a project of some kind. Cool. Okay, so we'll get started. So the first truth bomb is your mindset is your #1 asset in this business, you guys. I know you've probably heard that before, but it's so incredibly true. I cannot stress it enough. Mm-hmm. If you are losing in your mind, you are losing in real life. You have to be completely believing in this business opportunity and believing in yourself. You have to remove those limiting beliefs that you, for some reason, you can't ever be a 10-star diamond, you can't ever be a 15-star diamond, or that you can't ever be an elite coach, or you can't ever add, 5 or 6 coaches to your team per month. You've got to remove those limiting beliefs. Your mindset is going to be your #1 asset. When you look at, coaches who have become so successful in this business, and you look at what they came in with, you'll go, oh gosh, that's kind of surprising. Like I would have thought they had a following first, or they had this first, or they had these skills, or they had this body, or they had this look, or no, what they had was an unstoppable positive attitude, an attitude of gratitude. And that's what moved them forward. I mean, obviously one of my top coaches, Mindy Wenner, coming into the business, she was like, okay, I don't know if I'll be very good at this because I don't have a transformation story. I come from a small town. I have absolutely no fitness background. I do turbo jam in my basement. I've never been in a leadership type role before. I don't have any kind of a following on social media. I'm a very shy, introverted person. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And it was her mindset that got her to where she was, because every time she hit a roadblock, she was like, well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try that. And it wasn't me. It was her. It was her. So anytime you're thinking like, oh, I need to look for rock stars to bring on my team. No, you just need to look for good people and pour into them belief. And yeah, they may not believe it. And that's not your responsibility to make sure they believe it. It's not your responsibility to make sure they have success. But, believe in them. Let them see what you see in them. and some are going to run with it from there. And Mindy Wender is one of those examples. Jen DeVoe is one of those examples. Your mindset is your
everything. I remember even for me, I did not in the beginning, and I'll talk a little bit more about how I got through some of this, but I was lacking confidence even when I started, because I started at my before picture, and I didn't believe that I could do what other top coaches were doing. And one day I made a decision, because I remember thinking, Success Club, that's got to be like impossible. And it's not. And I literally, it was my mindset. I had said, I'm going to make it every month. I'm like, Darren, you hear me? We're doing this, because I signed up for a Success Club trip. And he's like, all right. And it's been, I don't know, 5 or 6 years later. So every single month I hit Success Club because I know I will, because I believe it. There's not a question in my mind. And so belief and mindset is so important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So important. Okay. So
we'll
go to
2.
Yeah.
So 2 is a big one, you guys. Being busy does not mean being productive. We can keep ourselves busy all day long. And I do hear from coaches if they're getting frustrated or they're like, I don't get it, I'm not moving to that next level. I'll have a call with them and say, tell me what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And it's usually things that aren't going to drive your business forward. It's scrolling newsfeed. It's making pretty graphics and just spending too much time like stalking other coaches and seeing what they're doing. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you're spending all this time trying to work your Beachbody business, but not getting anything done. And it's literally, you guys, just a few things. You could get this done in 1 hour in the morning and you should be set for the day. It is adding to your social media. It is inviting. And like I've said before, I have a season of invites. So every week I'm usually invited to something. And it's whether it's a 3-day sneak peek or a 1-hour sneak peek or a challenge group or a free group. I have something that I'm going to be inviting to. So I'm inviting, I'm adding, I'm working on me. You have to have those results and results with my fitness and also personal development. Mm-hmm. So really, am I missing anything there? Drink a shake, like that stuff. But yeah, it's just really sometimes, and I can understand, like I do think it's important to look at some people that are having success in the business and see what they're doing, but stop after 20 minutes or depending on how much time you have,
right?
Put a timer on your phone and then be done.
Yes. Don't think, I'm going to do a post. What should I post about? And then suddenly you're scrolling all the top coaches, and next thing you know, you're trying to fit make your post be like someone else's,
right?
And it's not you, and it doesn't feel right, and it feels exhausting, and you feel like, my post isn't going to be as good, my picture's not going to be as good. Don't go down those paths. If you're the type of person where looking at otother coaches actually brings you down and makes you feel defeated, do not be doing that. I actually think that's one of the things that helped me when I was a new coach, is that I wasn't following all these coaches on social media. I was just like, okay, what do I have to offer of value? Right. And so
cool.
Okay, so the next one, so I guess this would be number 3. The fruits of your labor are always delayed 30 to 90 days. Now, many of you have already heard this before, but sometimes we forget. So when you're having a month that seems like you're kind of in a lull, it's usually really has a lot to do with what you did the month previous and 2 months and 3 months previous. Because, when you're new in the business, especially, you're just getting your feet wet. And so all the things that you're doing are not going to show up in terms of a sale, a new coach joining you or whatever for minimum 30. I mean, there's only certain cases where it's like, okay, it shows up 30 days. Usually it's more like 90 days, honestly, that things start showing up.
I agree.
So, the work, it's just like fitness. The work that we're putting in today, the body that you have today is not necessarily a good indicator for what you're doing every day. What you're doing every day is probably going to show up 2 months from now, 3 months from now. It's always delayed, right? So, that's why I would say the foods you eat today are next month's body.
Yeah.
It's the same with this business. Like what the activities of your business today is your business 3 months from now. So it's always delayed like that. I have coaches tell me all the time, oh my gosh, all of a sudden I'm having like this really great month, and like I'm signing new coaches and great stuff. And it's really because of the hard work and consistency that they put in a month ago, 2 months ago, usually 3 months ago.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. All right. So number 4, some kind of failure always occurs before success. So true, you guys. You have to fail forward in this business. Every step of this, like when I started, I had my 100 Facebook friends and followers, and that was it. And I remember my first post was silly. I remember when somebody first asked me about, I think it was about Shakeology, because Shakeology had just come out. I literally copied and pasted everything that it said in the online office. I was like,
not?
Here's everything that's in it. And guess what I got back? Crickets.
Yeah.
So I realized that didn't work. My first getting started right call was like craziness. It's my first team call. Every part of this, it does get easier. The first live call I did with you, I think I read the entire thing because I was like, there's no way I can do this without reading.
Right.
You just have to understand that it's okay to make mistakes. In fact, it's good because that means you're actually putting yourself out there and growing.
Yes.
You grow from mistakes. You learn from mistakes. If something's not working, tweak it, do it a little bit differently. But do you think that's
totally?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, when you have those what you call failures or those lulls in your business or those hard times in your business, which every single coach is going to have. The great thing is that if you're serious about your business, you're going to find a way to get beyond it, to get past it, to have that next, uphill climb. And what that's going to do is it's going to help you relate to your coaches when they hit those times. If I had success that just looked like this, when my coaches, have those hard times, I'd be like, I don't know, because it's just been easy for me.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, dude, I've been there. I know exactly what you're feeling right now. And here's the thing, you just got to figure out what it is that you're missing or whatever. So I can relate to them. And, sometimes it's something much more specific. And I say, yeah, I ran into that too. And here's what I found. But if you don't have those failures, if you're just too like, I've got to have everything perfect and I have to have all my ducks in a row, then you're never going to experience what you need to experience. Right. This is a journey, and you need to be able to help your coaches get through those times as well.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And so just know that failures are going to happen and they're okay. You just got to figure it out, tweak it, and move on and maybe try something else. But for sure.
Exactly. Okay. So are we in number 5?
I believe we're number 5.
Okay. So just some normal stats that I really think everyone needs to know. Please write these down, because I can't tell you how many times that even myself, I felt, maybe temporarily defeated because I was like, what? Wait a second.
Right.
And then I'm like, wait, no, what is normal? What is kind of normal in this business? So these are some normal stats. 3 out of 10 people will usually buy. 3 out of 10. Now, let me just explain that. 3 out of 10 will usually buy. That's out of 10 people that know, like, and trust you. 10 people that you have invited to something, a challenge group or whatever. You've gone back and forth with them, 5 to 7 times, answering the questions, helping them understand how this will, solve their issue or whatever. So 3 out of 10. So in other words, if I wanted to, no, don't make me do the math. Let's just keep it at 3. let's just keep it at 3 out of 10. Okay. But think about that when you are inviting to challenge groups, and because here's an easy example. I'll have a coach say to me, I'm so excited because I posted about my first challenge group, and I had 3 or 4 people already interested, and we're messaging back and forth. And I'm like, that's awesome. But just so you know, you want to keep inviting and putting it out there more and promoting it more and messaging people more, because you typically want to have a good 30 people who you're talking to about your challenge group, and there are 30 people interested. And out of those 30, about 10 will be much more seriously interested in really asking specific questions. And of those 10, you're probably gonna have 3.
Right.
Does that seem much more?
Totally, yeah.
Okay, so a couple other stats though. 1 out of 10 usually joins as a coach. Now again, let me explain the 10 people. These are 10 people, again, that know, like, and trust you, that you've been talking to about the business opportunity. You've asked them the infamous question, have you ever considered doing a business like this? So these are people that you've actually, it's not just, hey, I'm doing this business, let me know if you'd be interested. That doesn't even count as 1 to 10. You have to say, have you ever considered doing what I do? And going back and forth with those people. So that's what that group of 10 looks like. And out of those people, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to recruit 10 people this month. No, it's probably realistically going to be 1 of them. Right. Now the other 9, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 of them that over the course of the next year, they're going to join you.
Yes.
So that definitely is there. Now here's the next little statistic, is that out of those 10 coaches who do end up joining you, so that might take you, I don't know, 3 months, maybe 4 months to have 10 coaches that join you. It depends on your, activity. So out of the 10 that actually join you and they're excited about this business, they get it, they want to work it. At least that's what they say when they join, okay? They have the intention of working the business. Out of those 10, it is normal if only 1 to 2 of them actually engages and stays engaged and continues kind of on a long-term basis to dig in. 1 to 2 out of 10. So we've always said, about 10%. So if you have 10 coaches and you really only have 1 and all 10 of them were like, yeah, let's go. And you only have 1 that's really like getting to Emerald or maybe is Emerald and like is, posting and doing some things consistently. That's normal.
Right.
That's what I had.
Yeah,
when I had 10 coaches.
sure.
That's normal. So don't be beating yourself up that somehow you're a bad leader. That's just the reality of this business.
Yeah, just you have to constantly be adding.
Yes.
Adding.
Yes.
Okay, this one I did. Were you finished with those stats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to make sure nobody's offended by this because I totally, fully, and if you follow me, believe this to the core because it's pretty much saved my life, is you may need therapy. For me, when I started this business, I was obviously overweight, lacking confidence. There was probably something, deeper there then even, because I think when you get to that point, you're struggling with something on the inside. And I lost the weight and I started gaining more confidence, and this business helped with the confidence and just feeling better about myself. But our lives, if you know me, my husband has brain cancer. My daughter's amazing girl, sometimes we need to do a reality check with her. But I'm just saying is that if I wouldn't have had therapy throughout all this, I don't know if I would have worked the business because that would have consumed me. And the therapy is what just like gives you just talking to somebody else to figure out what it is deeper, what's holding you back. Because sometimes there's something in you that you need to just talk through with somebody that's holding you back and not letting you go forward in this business. And there was somebody that was on your call.
Yeah, Rachel,
Yeah.
she, after she went diamond, she had done a training call. So it's on my JanelleSummers.com training site, log in with Team Hardcore. Team Hardcore is the username, fitness is the password. And it was like a few months ago.
Yeah.
And it was her aha moment where she was like, I just realized I needed to have a little therapy. There were some limiting beliefs I had set of myself. And she's like, it made a huge difference in my business just to talk that through.
It's a game changer. It's a game changer for your entire life. Literally your spouse, even if you guys are like happily married or have, every once in a while have an issue or whatever, Darren and I are like, we'll go to therapy just because, and we leave and then we're like, high five. We're like in such a good place. Like it's so good for your life. And when you are feeling good about yourself and you can talk through the stuff that is maybe holding you back or upsetting you, it's going to push you forward. So spend time with therapy. Promise. That's a good one. It's a real important one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we on number 7?
I think. See, we did 5 and 5.
Did anyone have any questions?
I was just looking. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Or Rachel's training was awesome. Yes.
Okay, so I think we're on number 7.
By the way, you can ask questions as we're going.
Yeah, we actually said it.
I have it up, so I'm looking.
Yes. Okay, so number 7, don't compare and this is a famous quote, and I really apologize, I don't know the author. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 12.
Right.
So often we play the comparison game. We kind of touched on that a little bit, but it's really a big, big factor. And I think so many coaches really don't dig into this business beyond like 2 or 3 months, which is super sad. But what a lot of times happens is their expectations are that if they put in, the right kind of work, the right kind of activity consistently for 2 or 3 months, that they should be seeing some of the ranks and Success Club numbers and team members joining their team that this other person who's been doing the business for 2 years.
Right.
And it's not going to be the same. Not even close. Not even close. This business has a lot of momentum that's built in, and you don't get that momentum until you've really been doing the business really consistently.
Right.
I always say, like, your first year, give it your first year at least, because there's so much with you branding yourself and understanding social media and you building your following that it's going to take some time. And so I have so many coaches that'll say, oh, I'm just not having a lot of success. And I'm like, wait a second, you've only been coaching for 2 months. You can't even assess your success after 2 months.
No.
And, or I'll have a coach who's like doing so awesome. And she's like, I don't know why I'm just not having a lot of success with this. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Of all my coaches who joined in the last year, you're at the top and everyone's looking at you going, why can't I be like her? And you're looking at you going, why can't I be like her? And you're comparing to someone that's been doing the business way longer, or it's just a completely different journey. Here's the other thing with making that comparison game. You don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. Right. So sometimes you're looking at so-and-so's posts on Facebook or Instagram.
Their highlight reel. You're looking at their highlight reel.
Yes. And sometimes you're looking at what they're doing and you're like, okay, I'm doing that same thing and I'm not having that kind of success, yet you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes that is giving them the success that they're having. I was just telling Jen, I remember talking to Melanie Mitchell one time. This was before she was the #1 coach. I don't even think she was in the top 10 yet. And I was, and we were talking about having an assistant, and she told me that, her assistant works full time. And I was like,
right.
I didn't have an assistant that worked full time. I had an assistant, but I was like, wow, this girl is serious. But I wouldn't have known that. That's one of those behind the scenes things. And, just like messaging people and how much they're reaching out to people and how much they're inviting people behind the scenes. The majority of what any successful coach is doing that's making them successful, you cannot see.
Right.
So you can't go to their Instagram, their YouTube or whatever and go, they only posted about a challenge group once and they had Success Club 50, yet I posted about my challenge group once and I had Success Club 2. I guess I just suck at this. Right. No, they're doing other things behind the scenes, lots of inviting. So don't even compare. It's just do what you know you need to do, and the way that you do it, and run on your strengths, work on your weaknesses, and put the blinders on.
Yes. Okay, so number 8, right? 8.
Yes.
This is kind of going along with what you just said. It is, you may need to hire an assistant. Let me tell you from personal experience, I was kind of, if you were really to follow my journey, I started real slow. First of all, I started for just the discount, just to get myself healthy. And then I realized this business was amazing. And so I started working it slowly, but I wasn't doing all the vital behaviors. So I was moving really slow. I was slow. And there was things that scared me still, things that I didn't like doing. And I heard over and over again from Shalene and from you and everybody, hire an assistant. Even if you don't make the money, trust me, it'll help you make more money in the long run. Mm-hmm. Yes. The second I hired an assistant to do the things that I did not like to do, I went to 2-Star. I opened up my second business center. Then I opened up my third business center. I went to Elite. I got 5-Star. I would not be in the same place today if I did not have an assistant, hands down.
Same here.
I mean, I don't even know where I'd be. She does the difficult things. Like, I'm not tech savvy with websites and whatnot. She runs my whole website. I mean, I could get into that, everything she does for me. But in the beginning, she did the things that made me a little bit uncomfortable, and it was sending those messages. And that made me uncomfortable. That's just the type of person I am. So if that's what makes you uncomfortable, hire it out.
Yes.
All of a sudden, me watching her, you got to kind of develop that relationship. You got to make sure it's, you guys, she's kind of like you and gets you before she maybe takes that over. Totally. But I was like, oh, okay, this is easy. She's doing it. And then I just started doing it too. But it's just getting, if it's somebody that just gets you over that comfort, or wait, what am I saying? Out of the comfort zone. Just to push you past those fears, do it. Yeah. I mean, those vital behaviors, if you're missing one of them, obviously they can't do your workout, they can't drink your shake, they can't do your personal development, but they can be adding and doing those messaging. And if you're missing those two, you're not going to get to the next level.
Yes, made such a huge difference. And doing it, like you said, before you can necessarily even afford it. And I know that sounds scary, and it was a decision that Matt and I had to make. It was like, okay, we're not making any money in this business yet we're going to pay an assistant. And I'm like, that's A. And B, I didn't even know what I was doing. So a lot of coaches will say, I don't want to hire an assistant yet until I know what I'm doing. You'll never know what you're doing.
No, never.
I mean, there's always a little bit of, this is a business. Yeah. Think of yourself like an entrepreneur. Like there's a lot of unknowns, and but when you do hire an assistant and you commit to that, and you actually have hired that person, you're like, oh my gosh, this person's like a hired assistant now. You actually get your act together, like real quick. You're like, okay, I don't want to let this person down. They're relying on me. I need to, before Monday, get organized on this and give her a task list. And all of a sudden you're like, I'm organized because I needed to get her organized. So now I'm organized because we do stuff for other people, sometimes more than we'll do for ourselves. Yes. So hiring an assistant for me put my back up against the wall, like, oh my gosh, we've invested money that we can't afford. Right. I need to make sure that what she's doing is going to move my business forward. And the first assistant doesn't always work out. My very first assistant, I don't remember her name. She didn't work out so great, but it was enough that I was like, okay, I see where if I've got the right person, this could really be huge. And there's absolutely no doubt about it. I wouldn't be where I am in the business.
Oh, 100%.
Without that.
And have them do the things that you're struggling with 100%. I mean, then you can add on and you don't have to do 20 hours to begin with. I think my assistant started off 10 hours maybe.
Yep. I think mine did 10 hours.
Yeah.
10 hours is what I started with. And I've had some people that start with 5, and I've had some people that just hired someone to clean their house, once a week. And that alone made a huge difference.
As long as you're doing work while your house is clean.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool. So am I on number, I don't know why I'm so caught up in the numbers.
9. You're on number 9.
Okay. So this one is, we've kind of touched on a little bit, but this is a quote by Ruth Schroner. And I really hope I'm saying her last name correctly. And she's one of our newest superstar diamonds. So she's a 15-star diamond coach now, okay? And she recently said something in one of the Facebook groups, and she did say that we could share this with our team. You won't have it all figured out to take your business to the next level. But you do have to make a decision and figure out how to bring that decision to life. Okay, so she went through in this post how you can set goals. You've got these goals and you've got your action plans, and it's kind of like, well, I'm going to aim for this, I'm going to aim for that, I'm going to do this. Making a decision is like, this is a non-negotiable. This is going to happen. And she made a decision to be a 15-star diamond. She made a decision, and that just had a different mindset shift for her, that she was going to figure out what she needed to do to make that happen because it was a non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. So, one of the things that she said in here, I wanted to read because I just felt like for those of us that look at other people and go, oh, I could never be that good, or I could never be that organized, or I could never be that creative, or whatever we think we could never be. Okay. And what she wrote was so good because it's so real. And she said,
because if you see her on her Facebook, you would not believe any of this. No. You would think she has all
so buttoned up. She's so perfect.
Yeah. You would think she has everything together. Right. And when she wrote this, we're all like,
it's awesome. Okay. So she says, I'm the hot mess express. So disorganized. I never make my bed, wake up 2 hours after my alarm goes off. I'm lucky if I shower once a day. I procrastinate my workout 4 to 6 hours each day. My phone camera has been cracked for months. I once ate an entire pack of double stuffed Oreos in a single day. This could potentially count as an awesome instead of a hot mess though. I'm on the fence about that one. My tracking system sucks. Oh wait, I don't even have one. I cried all day last Monday, then had a meltdown to cap off the day. I haven't edited my Revolving Coach Basics training since 2015. There's an angel on my one shoulder telling me I'm capable of anything, yet there's a devil on the other shoulder telling me I'll never be enough. I have no flippin' idea how to run Facebook ads anymore. I never use a planner or a marketing strategy. It takes me at least 100 selfies before I like just one. I feel stupid every time I go live in my public profile page. I have piles of dishes sitting in my kitchen. Hot mess express. But I made a decision. And because of that, I'm leading a top-ranked team of rock stars who are on fire for serving others. My coaches are seeing so much success in their businesses. Highest paychecks ever, highest Success Club points ever, highest rank advancement numbers ever. And it's freaking fun.
Yes.
Is that so great?
I just got the chills. I love that.
So great. So, I think, we were talking before this, and it was like, I think other coaches, and we only know this because we've been there. We've been at the point where we were just a coach, just an Emerald coach, it's our first $14 team cycle bonus. We've all been there. Yeah. But I think for coaches who are just starting off, or maybe in their first year or whatever, or maybe have hit a lull or whatever, you look at other people and you go, I bet they have it all figured out. I wonder what's the secret. I wonder what they're doing. Surely they're not doing what I'm doing. And then you read something like that and you're like, wait a second. Okay. It's a mindset. She's determined. She doesn't have it all figured out. Right. She's not perfect. But she keeps moving forward, one foot in front of the other, as messy and disastrous as it can look at times.
Yes. Cool. All right, you guys, we are at the last one. We're flying through this because she's got me here, and I'm like, come on.
I almost never finish it.
Come on. All right. If you're not excited about this business, they're not excited. Or if you're not excited about any part of it, they're not excited. If you're not excited about life, they're not excited, meaning those that are watching you. So you have to get excited. And maybe you've been doing this for 6 months or a year and you feel like you're in a rut, like you're not doing a new program, or you're just feeling like doing the same thing. Do something different.
That excites you.
Right. And I'm telling you this because it happened to me. Like we just said, top leaders, they have times in their business when they're like, oh, I feel like I'm in a rut.
Yeah.
But guess what I did? I learned something new. I got really excited. I think I was kind of in a rut because I'm in my 40s and early 40s. I don't like to say that very often, but I felt my body changing, and what wasn't working, or what was working, was no longer working. And I was like, what is going on? And when you're not feeling good about yourself, you're not going to put good stuff out there. You're not going to put good stuff out to your team.
Right.
You're going to be lacking. And I felt like that was happening to me. And so what I did was I started to learn something new. I was like, I'm going to figure out this metabolism. And I started researching that like crazy. And I got excited again because I was like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I started trying new things with my own diet. And then I started really focusing on intermittent fasting. And you can see, if you were even to look at my Instagram account, in the last like month or two compared to maybe 4 months ago, it's night and day difference. Like I was just doing like selfies and then getting quotes of Pinterest and wasn't being real. And now since I'm learning something new, I'm sharing what I'm doing, and I'm feeling good about it because I know I'm offering something to other people that's working for me that could possibly help them. And I'm building relationships from it because they can feel that I'm excited in my realness.
Yeah.
So.
And it gives you something, it gives you more content because you're like, oh, I need to share this. I need to talk about this. I need to help people with this. And then you stop worrying about what everyone else is doing because all of a sudden you're like, I've got my own mission.
Right.
I've got my own message I need to get out there. Instead of like looking at other people's posts and like, oh, I need to try and do this because I saw her do this and I saw her do this. So I need to try and do this. You're just going to take yourself down an exhausting path if you do that.
And you could do it. So here's one thing that we were talking about earlier too. You can get excited about a strength. So something that you're really good at, something you're really passionate about, just put it out there. Or you can get really excited about a weakness and start working on that weakness. So that's what I did. I chose my weakness. I was struggling with my metabolism and my nutrition and my weight. And so I was like, I'm going to figure out what I'm doing wrong, learn about it, and then share about it. And also, as you're learning something about health and fitness, even beyond Beachbody stuff, you want to stay healthy. So it keeps you on track. So if you just feel better about it.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Knowledge is power. I think when you're
power.
learning, knowledge is power and passion is power.
Yes.
When you've got knowledge and passion, you're going to do so well versus trying to follow what everyone else is doing.
Totally. Cool.
I think that's it. Did anyone have any
33
questions?
minutes.
Wow.
We can answer questions. Let's see here.
Let's see.
How much were you making when you hired an assistant? Well, I would
was making anything.
say, not much at all.
I mean, nothing that I like really. I mean, because I hired my assistant. I want to say like, was it my first month? Maybe my second month. No amount of dollars that like would be worth even looking at my paycheck. Like I had a full-time job, so it wasn't even worth looking each week at what I made. I mean, like maybe one week it was, $20, and the next week it was like 0, and then the next week it might have been like 14, and then 50, and then 0. Like just not even nothing significant.
Right.
Definitely not enough to pay for an assistant.
I was making a little bit because I did it. I was like diamond or 1-star when I hired an assistant. But it changed everything. You guys, you don't even understand. The second I hired my assistant, it was like, dude, like one thing happened after another. It was insane. It changes everything. And your spouse may fight it. They won't fight it when they start seeing your paychecks. Just say, give me like 3 months or 4 months or 6 months to prove this to you.
Yes.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's only 10 hours. I'll give up whatever to make up for this. It's important. It's that important.
It is that important. And that, you know, if you do have resistance or you have people around you like, wow, you better make this work, it does put your back up against the wall. I know, you know, Matt was on board with it, but at the same time, I personally was like, wow, I'm really, you know, going to be hurting the family income if I don't make this work, because I had quit my secondary job. So that was another decision I made, just to have my full-time job and have an assistant. So I was big time backing down our family income because I quit the secondary job and I hired an assistant. So it was like, it put my back up against the wall to go, okay, I need to get serious. And I did.
Rebecca asked, are you using a third party to find your assistant? I didn't.
I didn't either.
I feel like that's really a personal thing, and it needs to probably be somebody that you know. In fact, my first assistant,
you know someone that knows them really well.
My first assistant was a coach, but it didn't end up working out. She's great. She's still a coach, but just she was kind of too far away. And then I asked a group of friends, and they just said, hey, I'm looking for an assistant. And that's how it worked for me. It's just asking people that you know, trust, that would give you good advice, somebody close to you. But I don't think that's something that you want to hire like at Upworks, because you're going to have a real personal relationship with this person.
Really personal. Like, it's got to be someone you just, they adore you, you adore them.
Yeah.
You really, really trust them. They think like you do. Someone really easy to get along with. Someone that just clicks with your personality. Those things are really important.
Yeah. Any more questions, you guys? I think that's it. Any tips on finding an assistant? Oh, finding. Yeah. Ask around. Yeah. Just ask around. That's pretty much it.
And you know, you really have to, you're going to have to go through a phase where they're really just learning, you know, and you're going to have to be real patient. And you might even feel like in that first few weeks or month that you're kind of going backwards a little bit, because you're spending time, you know, training them on things and how to get through the back office. And you got to be able to trust them with all your logins and everything.
And you can say, you guys, make it a temporary thing. Yeah. So nobody feels, so you don't feel committed, and say, but you have to give it, you can't just say a month, because a month, you don't even, she doesn't know how you work. You don't know how they work. You got to give it at least like 3 months.
Yeah.
So I would say,
especially because of that 3 month delay.
I would say like 6 months.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, I'm looking for somebody to work with me for the next 6 months. Are you? And then that way you're not committed. They're not committed, but hope if it works out, then it works out. And that gives you an out if it doesn't work out.
Right. And you want someone that's organized, especially if you're not organized. I mean, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I'm not an organized person. So to have someone that's like, oh, we need to do this, or it's time to do this, or what did you want to do for this? I'm like, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about that. Huge. Okay. Anything else?
Somebody, how much do you pay them?
Well, that's
depends
on what you want to pay and what they are willing to take. And I mean, there's no doubt about it that, you know, what I paid in the very beginning is different than what I pay now. You know, that's a personal thing.
Yes.
Depends on the person. Depends on you.
That's all the questions, I think. Yeah. Good.
Good.
Awesome. This was fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jen, for doing this with me.
It was fun.
I thought this was awesome. Thanks, you guys. And we'll be in the Coach Success group. If you have any further questions, thanks for getting on. And I'll see you next week.